Is it normal for 33-year-old men to act like pubescent teenagers? Last night on Love Island All Stars, it was episode 16 and it was time for the Islanders to vote for 2 Islanders that had to leave. The night before, Mitch and Liberty got voted off. I felt really bad for Liberty. I felt like she needed another chance and she was really in there to find love. But as for Mitch, after sticking up for him for over a year, I thought he was a complete dick and I was happy for him to go. Before they went into their groups and started chatting, I thought that the girls were going to vote for Tyler because he wasn't in a romantic couple, or Chris because I feel as if he's been a bit of a dick lately. As for the boys, I had no idea who they were going to vote. I suspected it might be Georgia H, but I did not expect it to be Hannah. And I know that she wasn't in a romantic couple, but I feel like everybody in the house really loved her. I also kind of suspected that the girls might vote out Anton because he hasn't really been in a couple either, but they obviously think he's a really nice guy. So when they were telling you the results, as soon as you seen Kazzy's face, I was like, right, it's obviously Tyler, right? Because you could just see that she didn't want him to go. And then when it was the boys, when you seen Anton's face, I was like to my pal, he looks as if he's going to greet, right? It's probably going to be Georgia H. But then when they said Hannah, I was just like, what? I was actually shocked, right? I felt really bad for her. Even though she hadn't really found a connection with anybody in the house, she'd already said that she wasn't very flirty or whatever, but I was just so surprised because she does seem like such a nice person. So Anton was obviously super emotional and he went to Georgia H and he was venting to her and he was saying, oh, I had her back, I had your back. Like, he wasn't meaning anything bad by it, he was just saying, like, I tried to save Hannah and I was trying to save you as well. And then, for whatever reason, she decided to tell Chris that Anton said this. And then Chris was being a total dick. And he's like, oh, he had no need to tell you that. Like, what's the point in telling you that? Now you feel bad and we all look bad. Like, nobody says that it was a secret. Nobody says, let's not discuss this. It's a bro code. See all this bro code fucking shit? It does my nothing. But anyway, he was raging, right? And he pulled him over for a chat. And Anton obviously didn't really realise that he'd done anything wrong. And he was just saying, oh, I was just telling her, like, I didn't realise it was, like, malicious or whatever. And I felt really bad for Anton, right? And my pal says to me, oh, you only like Anton because he's Scottish. That is not the case. But I'm so confused because I still think he's a compulsive liar because I know he had a girlfriend and he says he didn't. But at the same time, I think he's a really nice guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, how long can you keep up this act for if he's being fake? Like, with Georgia S, my friend in work was saying, oh, I was wondering how long it would take for her to show true colours because when she was in her own season, she was a bitch and now she's like coming out as like she's still being snaky. And I was like, well, how long can you be false for? Do you know what I mean? So Hannah, Tyler, Mitch and Liberty left and straight away they brought in 2 new bombshells. The night before they had showed you just a quick second who was coming in and I kind of thought I knew who it was but I couldn't be bothered looking it up. I recognised the hair, right, and I kind of thought, fuck, I hope that's not Casey coming in. And then when it showed you, I was like, fuck, man, not Casey. I remember in his season, and at first, he seemed like such a nice guy, and I was like, oh my god, he's so sweet, he's so nice. And then as it went on, and I was like, he was just a fucking dick. I remember him just being a dick. So, Joanna, for the life of me, I could not remember who she was. And I was like, I know she was in Anton's season, right? Because she was in season 5. But who the fuck was she? So when I looked it up online, it turned out that she was the one who Michael paired up with in Casa Amor. And I was like, oh my god, she looks totally different. For some reason I thought she was Asian, right? I mean, it wasn't that many years ago. But she came in and I was just like, right, I don't really remember her. But obviously Anton and her really got on, right? So straight away, Chris was like, oh, Joanna's really attractive. And I was like, he was paired up with Arabella and he was saying she was stunning and all that. Then Sophie came in and he says, oh, I've fancied her for a while just so you know, she's really stunning. She's really attractive. And then Joanna comes in and now she's really stunning and really attractive. The 3 of them don't look anything alike. They don't even have the same personalities or anything. Like, there's nothing similar about them. It's as if someone walks in with boobs and he just instantly finds it attractive. I don't understand his mentality. I actually had to look up his age, right, because I thought maybe he's young. Maybe he's like 25 or something, but he looks a bit older. See, when I seen that he was 33, I was like, actually, fuck off, Chris. Fuck off. Like, you can't just fancy anything that moves. It's ridiculous. Everybody gets to a point in their life, surely, that they start to think, right, I've got a type, or I want to get to know somebody for their personality or whatever. It literally makes no sense to me. He just fucking fancies anything with boobs. Actually, probably just fancies the guys as well. So Casey and Joanna were having their chats with the boys and girls, and Georgia H said that she had been seeing Casey and that he ghosted her. And I'm like, is this like a totally incestuous thing? Like, people who have been on Love Island, they all go to like the after parties or they meet up or something, they all just have sex with each other. I know they're young, right? I'm not being judgmental, but it's like, every time somebody comes in and it's like, oh, we've got a history, and they weren't on the same seasons or anything. It's starting to feel a wee bit like weird. So Casey was sitting chatting to the girls, and I thought, oh fuck man, he is so in love with himself, like even more than what he was before. Like in his season he seemed a wee bit shy to start off with, and then his confidence grew. But now that he's been on the show and he's been out and probably having sex with everything, he absolutely fucking loves himself. And I thought, I can't be fucked with him. And also, I hope they don't bring Michael back, because my friend was showing me pictures of him on Instagram last night, and he's like some sort of life coach or something now. He's like mega muscly. He just has such a fucking bad attitude. But anyway, Joanna and Anton already know each other, and he was saying, oh look, we really got on in Casa Amor last time and all that. And I think that they're interested in each other. And to be honest, I hope that they are, and I hope that they pair up with each other, because he does deserve to find somebody nice. Whether or not she's nice, I can't remember, because I fucking didn't have a clue who she was when she walked in. At the end of the show, Chris was talking to two other boys. I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about Anton telling Georgia H that the boys were thinking about evicting her for the island. And I thought, so much for keeping it between the three yous. Do you know what I mean? Like, people say that women gossip and start drama, but men are just as bad. Like, nowadays I would say that men are so much worse. Like, it wasn't him that brought it up, right? But he was like, oh yeah, we talked about it last night. Like, if I was him, I'd have just acted as if, oh my god, this is brand new information. Do you know what I mean? He says he was going to keep it between the three of them. He just fucking talks shit. I actually can't stand Chris now. So let me know in the comments what you thought of who got evicted for the island. Were you surprised? Were you happy? And what do you think of the new bombshells? Like, are you happy for Casey to be back? I'm certainly not. And now, the more bombshells that are coming in, the more I'm starting to think, like, who's going to be in Casa Amor? It's going to be so dramatic. But we'll see what happens tonight.